If you join, say hi, tell us where you're watching from.
April from Topeka and Jerry are watching.
Hi, Kathleen and Beth. Got Indiana. Minnesota.
There they all are.
There they go. Jan. They're coming in so fast I can't even read them now.
Good deal.
Cassie, Nicole. All right. Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have a special guest with us today. Stephanie is a grooming specialist with Carr Day Martin, and she's with us, and she's going to talk about how to make grooming easier this spring.
Be sure to post any questions that you might have in those comments. We have a pretty great package to give away at the end of this segment. I'm going to show you what it is. We have a care bundle, and it includes some Canter mane and tail,
and some Dreamcoat,
some Gallop shampoo in the color of your choice, some Corny Crescent ointment, and the tack cleaner and conditioner. And I know that's backwards, so I'm sorry for that. But it is a really great package that one lucky viewer is going to win today. So be sure to get your questions in there. And with that, Stephanie, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everybody from England, which it's very wet and windy outside, so hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. I'm joining you today from Carr Day Martin, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background about our company to start with, in case anybody isn't aware of the company. But the company was founded in 1765, so over 250 years old. We've been providing horse care products worldwide for years and years, and most of them I think you'll probably recognize the name of, hopefully. Packaging's changed a little bit over the years, but generally speaking the products themselves have actually stayed the same recipe. Our company now is based over in Ireland, and that's where we manufacture and then send out all of our products from. We have also, if you have ever seen the products, you'll notice the little logo on the top is our royal warrant. Carr Day Martin has actually held the royal warrant since 1820. So we've been providing the royal family and the horses that are associated with the Queen and the household cavalry since then. So over 9 monarchs now. So a long time. So you know that the products are really going to work. We know that they, produce the best effect to get the horses looking the absolute best for well, if it's good enough for the Queen, it's good enough for everybody else. So you can be sure that the products work. Just to go into a little bit of background about grooming, and obviously where our products sit, and how they can help you guys with your grooming and how to make things a little bit easier. We always sort of say we're not creating products to replace grooming. These are just to help things help make things a little bit less tedious, help it speed up the job a little bit and get the best results. So whether you are just hacking from home or whether you are going to competitions and you're showing your horse off to its best. Obviously grooming is really important, mainly for the health of the animal more than anything else, although it's great to have a horse that looks well turned out. As far as the coat is concerned, it changes between seasons. and obviously, if we don't keep the coat clean, then the health of the animal can suffer in that respect. So making sure that we don't have mud and grease ingrained in the coat and against the skin is really important. We don't want to introduce any bacteria that can cause irritation or any skin conditions, and that's really important. Obviously, horses nowadays don't tend to live out in herds. We tend to keep them more isolated, and we blanket them up, so they don't get the opportunity to mutual groom each other as much as they would normally in a natural environment. So we have to help them out a little bit there. It's great for bonding. It's a really good opportunity to check your horse over for any injuries externally, if there is any damage or any lumps or bumps that you maybe hadn't noticed before. And obviously a natural coat should have a very natural sheen if it's healthy. And the horse does produce its own oils to have some weatherproofing properties. So grooming helps to stimulate that and keep the coat nice and healthy in that way. Regardless of whether it's in winter and they've got a thicker coat and the pile has come through, or whether it's their thinner summer coat, they should always have a natural healthy shine to it. I'm very aware there's a lot of questions coming through. Do you want to jump on some of those?
Sure thing.
It's a lot of questions.
Beth had a question. She said, but what the best way to keep I don't know how to really, a cremello looking bright?
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. So regardless of color, it's really important to use a shampoo when you're cleaning your horses that is designed for horses. There is a lot of options out there. There's human products that I know some people have probably used in the past because it's a cheaper option, and they're readily available because you've got them to hand. They are really not appropriate for matching with the horse's skin. And on the other hand, things like your household products, so things like washing up detergents and things like that, that both of those are either too acidic or too alkali to match with the horse's pH. And all you will do there is create problems for yourself in the long run. You'll end up with brittle coats, and the coat will become dull. What's really important is to use one that is designed for horses. So our Gallop shampoo range that we've produced is a matching pH to the horse, so pH of 7. And what that means is that you can get the best clean condition out of the coat when you're using the product, but actually you're not going to cause any irritation, any sort of scurfiness or dandruff, or any problems with sort of messing with the natural flora of the skin. And that will help you to get a brighter coat in general. For your lighter coloured horses, it's always really good to try and match it with, if you're using one of the colour enhancing shampoos, probably the chestnut or the palomino one would be perfect for that colour horse. But we also do a stain removing one, which I'm sure that colour horse would definitely need at some point.
Okay, this question is from Tammy, and it's kind of along the same lines. She's asking what the difference is in the colors for the shampoos.
Okay, so this is a really good question because we have 4 coloured shampoos. The key to these shampoos is that they don't contain any dye. So we're not dyeing the colour of the horse, and we're not changing the colour of the coat. What we're doing is we're just bringing out the natural colour and the natural shine of that colour. You could use any of the colours on any coloured horse. You'll still get a really clean, shiny coat. But if you use one that is as close as you can get to your colour of your horse, so a bay, or a black horse, try and use those colors, you'll get the best out of it, because it just means that it'll just enhance that natural color and make the coat shiny.
Can these products be used on other animals like dogs?
Yeah, so we get this question quite a lot. realistically, there's nothing in the products that would be, detrimental to, say, for example, a dog. However, these are products that have been created and designed for the purpose of use on horses, and we don't tend to recommend that you use it just in case they do have a reaction. So yeah, it's a funny one, that, but try and keep to using them just on horses.
Okay. Pamela says that she needs help with gray and palomino tails. Do you have any advice for her?
Yeah. Okay. So again, try and use a shampoo that is designed for horses, and the Gallop range is perfectly suited for that. Again, I think we'd be going straight back to our Gallop stain removing shampoo. It's slightly purple in color, so it will counteract yellow and green staining. And if it is really dirty, leave it in for a few minutes before you rinse it out. And you can always, if you're really struggling with stains, you can always use the Stain Master spray. And that you could just spray straight into the tail and then rinse it out, and that would help.
Nancy asks, main care for horses that live out 24/7. Can you kind of go over?
Yeah. So I think we'd be going straight to our Canter mane and tail, which is our biggest selling product worldwide. It's our hero product. So Canter mane and tail is you can use that on wet or dry coat or mane and tail. And these results are completely instant. You don't need to leave it on for a few minutes. You get a non-greasy, non-sticky, conditioned tail. And that will be leaving it tangle-free. And that's the most important part there, especially if they're living out. Because of the way that the product works, it will prevent mud from getting too clagged into and keeping it all sort of stuck within the coat. You should really, if it's a stabled horse, we would say you could get results up to 2 weeks. Anything that's living out, I would say you'd get up to a week if you gave the tail a real good coat. If you've got rugs on, the mane, and you could spray that into the mane to stop it from rubbing quite so much, because you're going to reduce the friction by using that product.
Okay. Danny also talks about tangling and wanted some advice on something that could keep the mane from tangling. She says she has a 2-year-old gelding who is blessed with a beautiful long mane and tail, but he gets knots easily when he's out in the wind.
Okay, so yeah, straight back to our hero product, our Canter mane and tail. This product, ideally, you're always going to get really the best results if you start with a clean tail. So always sort of shampoo it and then apply your Canter mane and tail. You should not need to apply that every single day. You would get quite a few days out of that if you spray enough in it. And again, the key to that product is that it will stop it from knotting up, and then you'll reduce the breakage long term, and you'll end up with a nice thick and keep it long mane and tail.
Tammy asked, do any of the products help with stopping sun bleaching for the color?
Preventing sun bleaching is quite difficult. I think if you were using, especially when it comes to your mane and your tail areas, if you've got dark colors, keeping a mane and tail on it and keeping it in really good condition would help. But if you use the color enhancing shampoos after they have been sun bleached, so if you use the dark colored ones on your dark mane and tail, that will help to bring it back around again.
Okay. Can you use these products with blankets on?
Yes, definitely. So 2 products that we would always recommend, especially for use in the winter and if you've got a lot of blankets on. So Canter mane and tail over the mane, just to keep it tangle free, and that will stop further friction if you've got hoods and neck covers on. But also if you've got horses that struggle, that have got quite large shoulders or quite wide chests, and they rub over the fronts and the wither area, you can use the Coat Shine. Coat Shine is a similar product to Cantamane and Tail, but it's designed for use on the body. And as it says on the tin, it's a high shine product. But because it is that high shine product, it reduces the friction, and it's really good to stop rugs rubbing, as well as stable stains.
All right, Virginia asks, should you use your hoof oil with using a hoof ointment?
Okay, so they are two different products, and they are for completely different uses. So our corner crescent hoof ointment is designed for encouraging healthy horn growth and healthy hoof growth, and it will speed up hoof growth. So that's what that's for. It's there to do a job. You would only need to apply that around the coronet band. And this is one of our most traditional products. It smells delicious. And it's quite tempting to put that everywhere. That product is to just rub it in with your fingers and rub it directly into the coronet band, because that's where your hoof growth is coming from. So that's where we want to stimulate the growth. Hoof oil generally, if we're talking about the Vanna and Pressed hoof oil in the red tin, that is designed mainly for cosmetic shine. So if you were going to a competition, you would want that on, for your high shine on the hoof. So they are two different products. But yes, you could definitely use them together.
Okay. Let's see here. Where are we at right
This
here?
one.
She kind of went over that.
Okay, so this one.
All right. Becky is asking, how about one with summer itch? Is it, I guess, Becky, are you wondering if it's okay to use the products, or if they have products that prevent it, or what exactly, I guess, can you clarify that?
Yeah, we could do with a bit of clarity on that one before we give the answer to that one. Maybe if she could come back.
Meanwhile.
I see one there for donkeys and mules. Yeah, absolutely.
Kathleen said, I have a TWH that has such a big tail. It's like dreadlocks to the ground. I divide the tail into 8 sections to try and brush it out. The problem is keeping the sections out of the way to continue brushing. Is there a product to help the hair out so no dreadlocks occur?
Yeah, again, your Cantamane and Tail is going to help you out big time there.
Okay. Terry asks, how often do you suggest washing a horse?
Okay, so realistically, you shouldn't really be overdoing it. Just because you don't want, there's no need to. If the horse is in a healthy condition and their coat is in a good condition, shouldn't really need to if you're grooming. Obviously, good grooming will only go so far, and sometimes you do need a little bit of help. So a bath is really, if you've got a mud monster that comes in absolutely caked, then yeah, I would try and avoid bathing more than a few times a week, really. But luckily, like I said earlier when we spoke about the Gallop shampoos, they are pH neutral, so they match the horse's skin. So you're not going to get any sort of overstripping of oils or anything like that there. But again, I think it's just a case of when's really necessary, or if you are going to a show and you just need that extra help and shine.
All right, Tanya asked, the easiest way to remove burrs from manes and tails.
The easiest what? Sorry, say that again.
Way to remove burrs and from manes.
So you should be fine with just using your Cantamane and Tail. That if you spray that directly on it, you should then be able to just tease them out without breaking the individual hairs. You could also use Coat Shine, but Cantamane and Tail would just be our go-to.
Okay. Mark is asking, the best way to keep long mane good and strong, especially in cold winter and under a blanket.
Yeah, so it's very similar to some of the other questions that we've gone over. I get that Canter mane and tail bought is the answer to that one. I mean, this product really is, if you're looking for anything that's going to keep your mane and your tails in a tangle free, very soft and silky condition, that's the one to go for. To a point, it will stop mud from clagging, if it's in the wet all of the time, it will stop it from sort of tangling up. When you then come to brush it, it's going to stop you then ripping knots out and taking chunks of hair with it, and it'll just enable it to sort of slide over each other, and it doesn't knot up quite so quickly.
Lee asks, should you brush out your horse before giving it a wash?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't. And I think actually, yeah, what you could be doing is actually removing that sort of top layer of caked in mud and things like that first, and then it'll just help the shampoos to actually get in and do their job against the hair and the skin properly. So yeah, probably.
Okay. Lori says, my horse is half thoroughbred, half paint, and his hair was short and fine prior to hairing up for the winter. What is the best way to care for his coat as shedding season begins? It is 14 degrees here. So I realize this is a question for today. Laugh out loud.
Okay, so I think making sure that you've probably got the correct amount of blankets on for that horse as an individual. If he's very fine coated, you're probably going to have some issues with rubbing, even if the rug fits. If he's got a very fine coat, he will easily get friction rub. So your coat shine will help with that. If you're just wanting, sort of overall help with your grooming, then to finish off with something like coat shine, or the Dreamcoat would probably be another one. Dreamcoat and coat shine are slightly different products, but they're both sort of shine for the coat. Most people probably won't be aware, but Dreamcoat is a really unique product of ours. There's nothing like it on the market because it's completely non-slip. So although you get a really high shine finish to the coat, you can put it safely under your tack areas, chuck your saddle on, and I promise that you'll stay on board and you won't end up sat on the floor underneath. So yeah, I think just making sure that your horse is warm enough, and make sure you get your rugs off on a regular basis. Give your horse a proper groom and make sure that you're not missing anything that's hiding under the rugs.
All right, Jared said, I have a buckskin, palomino, and chestnut. She's questioning if she needs 3 shampoos or which should I use?
No, so for all of those shampoos, I think I'd be recommending the Gallop chestnut and palomino. The key to these products is there's no dye in them, so we're not going to color a horse a different color. If you'd use the bay one, you could use the bay one if you had it to hand. It's just that you're just going to get the best results if you use the one that's most appropriate for your horse color.
Terry is asking, what is the best for very thick and long tails?
Yeah, so Canter mane and tail, again, it's just going to stop it from getting all knotty and into that dreadlocked state. But you shouldn't have to use it every single day because you get long-lasting results with that one. So it's more economical that way.
Megan's asking, what about places like Arizona where some products sadly help cause severe sunburn or attract so much dust if the product's not thoroughly rinsed or leave-ins?
So we don't really have any sort of leave-in products. Most of ours are obviously sort of coat finishes, and actually our coat shine and our Dreamcoat will actually help to repel dust in the sort of dry season. And then coat shine, again, it's going to stop any manure or grass stains getting right down to the skin level and actually creating a really hard stain. I hope that's answered that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we at here?
Gosh, there's loads of questions.
What's best to use to remove grass stains?
Okay, so we have a product called Stain Master, which I have here, which is the green bottle. So Stain Master is our sort of spot on dry shampoo stain removing product. The key to this product, which as a sort of, well, we're coming out of winter now, but great for if you're off site and if you go to shows and your horse has stained itself either in the wagon or it is winter and you don't have access to water. This product, you don't need water with it. So you spray it onto your stain, leave it a couple of minutes, and you can either wipe it off with a sponge, damp sponge or a cloth, or a brush, and it'll leave a really bright white stain-free coat.
Okay. Do any of these products have any sunscreen in them?
No, so we don't have sunscreen in our products. No.
Is there any products to prevent other horses from eating tails?
No. No.
Honoring horse.
When all of our products smell really good, so I don't. Hopefully they were silky enough to move out of the horse's mouth quick enough.
Michelle, we will put links to all of these products.
Yeah.
Do you have to wait for products to dry so the moisture doesn't create bacteria under the blanket?
That's a really good question. No, because they don't really leave a wet. You don't really have a wet finish on the coat, and if you do, I think you're using far too much of it. I think that's the answer to that question.
Kathleen asked, are they safe for the horse's eyes? I always cover their eyes because I wasn't sure if safe.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're probably meaning the mane and the tail sprays there. Yeah, there's nothing in there that should. I mean, obviously, eyes are a very sensitive area, and normally, I think a horse's normal reaction would be to close their eyes anyway if you don't cover them. But yeah, I don't worry too much about that one. I mean, don't spray it directly in their eyes, but I think yeah, that's fine.
Are these products okay for sensitive skinned horses?
I think the answer to that one is going to be, it kind of depends on the individual horse itself. If you haven't used the products before on their skin and their coat, things like the sprays, it might always be a good idea to just try it first before you cover the whole body, and then just make sure that the horse isn't going to have a reaction. And obviously, if it's completely dependent on the horse itself. Your shampoos specifically, no, because again, like we said earlier, they are pH neutral, so they do match the horse's skin, so they tend to get very little. We tend not to get any complaints of reaction from that side of things.
Okay. We had a request to show the products again on camera, so I'm just going to...
I know, I did try to have a nice grouping of them behind me.
Yes, you have more there than what we do.
She wants to see Hoof. There we go.
There we go.
So yeah, so that's the corner crescent ointment. So that's the one if you're wanting to speed up healthy hoof growth and encourage healthy growth. So if you've got any, really poor quality hooves, that one's the one you want.
It does smell really good.
And I'll share the links, Holly, when we're done as well. So Rachel asked, is it show ready?
Is it show ready?
Show ready. And
we're not sure.
I'm not sure. So
okay.
I just wasn't sure if I about
is that one product in particular, or
Rachel?
Sure, Rachel.
Rachel, can you clarify for us, and we will try to answer that for you. Meanwhile, Tammy had a question about the leather care.
Okay.
Does the leather conditioner leave the leather soft, or is it slick feeling for a certain amount?
So we do have a couple of different products. That's the step 1 cleaner spray. The step 2 conditioning spray is glycerine based. And then we also have coconut oil in there as well. So that's where you're getting your really nice, nourishing properties back into your clean tack. It will, because it's got glycerine in, you get a high shine finish. I wouldn't call it slippery, but it's that sort of shine that, you know, that really high shine that you want from clean tack on it. But I wouldn't say slippery.
Was that kind of answered that one?
Yeah, I would say so.
Is there anything that helps with itching?
Yeah, so I think this is one that we went back to earlier, isn't it? So yes is the answer to that question. Unfortunately, not in the US as yet. So we do have a shampoo that would be designed for that purpose. And we are hoping to have that on the market in the US very soon.
Okay, this question is from Nicole. She says, I have a gelding with fecal water syndrome. Can I use the high shine on his bum and back legs to help keep poo water from sticking and staining?
Yeah, so actually, I think the best product for that is the Coat Shine, the blue bottle. This one.
That's true.
So, that is right.
Yeah, so the Coat Shine is our high shine coat finish. But this is the one where you are going to get that sort of it is a sort of effectively slippery. What that will do is it'll reduce friction. So that's when we said it would be great for anybody that's getting any rubs from their blankets and any grass stains that you want to prevent. But if you've got anything like that, then yeah, that's what I would spray over the back end. If it is over just that sort of back end and tail area, just be careful you don't get it near your tack area though, because again, it is that, you know, high shine.
Melanie has a question.
Well, Rachel asked, what is best for dry leather? And these say step 1 and 2. So is it a 2-step process that you use for the leather?
Yeah, exactly. So depending on just how dry the tack is, so on a sort of daily or weekly level, your step 1 cleaner and then your step 2 conditioning spray would be enough to maintain nice conditioned and supple leather. If you've got particularly dry or cracked and it's been sort of sat around for a while, it's very old, or it's very new and you want to soften it up before you use it, there's a couple of different options that we have. So we have our Vanna and Press Neats for Oil would probably be our first choice, which is a sort of intensive oil that would, go right through those layers of the leather, and that'll just help to soften it enough and prevent any further cracking and damage. If you've got leather that has been dried out because it has got water saturated and you've been caught out in a really bad rainstorm and then you've left it and it's dried out too quickly, and it's left it feeling very dry, then we would recommend using the Beaver leather balsam, and that's great for restoring condition and moisture back into the leather, and it will stop further damage and prevent it hopefully from getting to the point of cracking.
That's a good question. Chelsea is asking, other than the Canter, which is her personal favorite, what is your favorite product and why?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Coat Shine. I use Coat Shine quite a lot, mainly because there's so many uses to Coat Shine. If you're going into the show ring and you're putting quarter marks on your horse, that is what's going to give you that real high shine in the spotlight sort of presentation on your coat. But it's also, we've spoken about stopping stable stains and obviously if you're stopping sort of mud from sticking to the coat as well. But it's also really good if you're clipping. I have 3 horses that I ride in winter predominantly, so mine are all clipped out. Coat shine's really handy for spraying over the coat before you clip. And what that does is it reduces the friction, and it just means that your coat, your clipper blades go straight through the coat a lot easier. You get a better finish, and it doesn't blunt your blades quite as quickly. So that's my personal favourite. And I have a horse that's a mud monster, so I rub it on his face before he goes out in the field, and then hopefully it doesn't stick quite as hard.
Jerry asked, can these shampoos be used with a sprayer system?
Oh, I mean, can't see any reason why not, because you can use these products neat, and you can use them dilute. So if, you know, same as any other shampoo, I suppose, if it goes in, then yeah. I haven't used it myself that way though.
Okay. Kelsey was asking, what was the name of the product that helped with hoof growth?
So that's the corner crescent hoof ointment.
Show that one again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to sort through maybe some of the ones that have already been answered here.
Okay. So somebody's asking there about stores carrying it. So Valley Vet have more than our top 10 available. You've got quite a few options in the hoof category and the leather category, as well as the coat. So yeah, Valley Vet.
Yep, we'll go ahead and share links as soon as we're done with this. So, and we had an email go out this morning with all the products on there. So if you guys aren't signed up for email, go ahead and sign up for our emails, then you'll stay up to date on all this.
Yeah. And I suppose if anybody does want any more information on any of the products, or you want to see the full range, you can always go to our website as well, which is www.carrdaymartin.com.
Shannon asked if you recommend washing a horse after every dusty ride or just a rinse off. She said it's very dusty and hot where she lives.
Okay, I don't know whether hosing off would be the best option, just because I think really you're probably just going to wet the coat, and then your dust is probably just going to remain in the coat and just wetter. Right. Realistically, I think you're probably better off using a really good quality brush, and getting the dust out that way, rather than and again, I don't think you want to be bathing quite as much as every day.
We've had several questions come in, and maybe they were late to join, about hair growth. So what is the best product for tail growth?
Okay, so we don't have any products that specifically encourage the growth of tails, but I suppose when it comes to maintaining what you've already got, and keeping it in the best condition, that we don't end up with it thinning out, is really the key. And that is, again, our Cantamane and tail will stop that from happening and keep your tails nice and thick, and in a good quality condition. Interestingly enough, the corner crescent hoof ointment, if you do have any rubs where you've lost hair or it's started to thin out, the whole point of the corner crescent hoof ointment is it's just encouraging keratin production, and keratin is what makes up your fingernails, your hoof, and your hair, which means if you put your hoof ointment on, it can help with hair growth if you've had any like rubs that have occurred, but it's not gonna, I wouldn't recommend putting it all over your tail.
Terry wanted to know what your recommendations are for a brush.
Okay, so we don't have any of our own brushes, and we don't sort of recommend brands of brushes because that's not sort of what we do. But I do think just making sure that you've got a good quality one, and tend to go for sort of your natural fibers and things that aren't too harsh. Horses' coats are not the thickest, and I think using horse specific brushes is always best. When it comes to manes and tails, if you've got them in a really good condition and you're not having to really detangle, combs are always a really good option.
All right. Well, I think that we have covered almost all the questions on here. Do you have anything else to add, Stephanie, before we draw a winner?
I don't know. I think we've covered quite a lot there.
We have covered a lot. Thank you so much for joining us today and answering all of our questions.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to draw the winner for this package.
And you are going to get some mane and tail, Dreamcoat, some Gallop shampoo, color of your choice,
Tack cleaner, step 1 and 2.
and then the hoof ointment. So a really great package.
Mm-hmm.
And who is our lucky winner
All right.
today?
Our lucky winner is Tanya Estep. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Congratulations, Tanya.
Tanya. If you're wanting to go ahead and send us a private message to claim your prize. So.
Okay, Stephanie, we want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, before we get off of here, we want to remind everybody. So we have our Spraymaster Spectacular giveaway going on right now. So make sure you get entered. It does go through June, but make sure you do it now so you don't forget. This is a great prize as well.
And join us again next Wednesday. We will be live with W.F. Young, and we will be talking about silver honey. So we will see you all next Wednesday.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you.